What does a war look like when nobody declares it? 13 undersea cables cut since 2022. Communication lines between Finland and Estonia. Power cables, data links. The method: a cargo ship, a dragged anchor. Plausible deniability. Nobody convicted. Munich airport grounded flights because of drones. Copenhagen, Helsinki, all in 2025. More than 150 suspected Russian hybrid attacks across Europe in a single year. Most never made your news feed. This is the story of the war Russia is already waging against Europe, and why nobody knows how to fight back. In 2013, Russian General Valery Gerasimov published a doctrine: war fought below the threshold of conventional conflict. In 1939, war meant armies crossing borders. In 2024 and 2025, war means cargo ships dragging anchors. A warehouse fire in Birmingham in 2024, a DHL package that caught fire mid-transport. British intelligence linked it to Russian military intelligence. At the Blohm and Voss shipyards in Hamburg, workers were arrested for pouring gravel into the engines of German Navy corvettes under construction. A Romanian presidential election was annulled in December 2024 after courts found evidence of coordinated Russian social media interference. In September 2025, Russian drones crossed into Polish airspace. NATO tracked them, then argued for 2 weeks about whether Poland could shoot them down. The same month, a Russian fighter jet violated Estonian airspace. Russia called it an accident. Russian hybrid attacks across Europe increased fourfold in 2024 compared to the previous year. In 2025, the rate accelerated further. TSE are not isolated incidents. This is a campaign. The Baltic Sea. 14 NATO member states share one semi-enclosed body of water. 500 kilometers of undersea cables carry 99% of Europe's intercontinental data. The Suwalki Gap. 80 kilometers of land connecting Poland to Lithuania. If Russia seizes it, the Baltic states are cut off from NATO. Every Russian military planner knows this. Kaliningrad, a Russian military enclave inside NATO territory, missiles, special forces, a forward staging base that cannot be surrounded. Russia operates a shadow fleet of over 600 oil tankers registered under false flags. They carry sanctioned oil and, intelligence services believe, drag anchors over cables. By late 2025, Russia had suffered an estimated 1.2 million casualties in Ukraine. Conventional military strength depleted. The gray zone became more valuable. In January 2025, NATO launched Baltic Sentry, frigates, patrol aircraft, maritime drones, and for a period, cable incidents slowed. Then, New Year's Eve 2025 happened. Each undersea cable sabotage incident costs $1 to $3 million to repair. Each repair takes weeks. The attack costs nothing. A shadow fleet tanker carries sanctioned Russian oil. It covers its operating costs through oil sales. The cable cutting is essentially free. European defense spending has surged 30% in 2 years, not because of a declared war, because of this campaign. Every major European airport now needs dedicated anti-drone defense. Each installation costs tens of millions. Across hundreds of airports, that is a real budget. The Nord Stream pipeline that was blown up in 2022 represented $20 billion of infrastructure. The investigation has been inconclusive for 3 years. On Christmas Day 2024, the S-Link 2 electricity cable between Finland and Estonia was cut. Finland detained a tanker. The tanker was eventually released. The Baltic states were 100% dependent on the Russian-linked electricity grid until 2025. Connecting to the European grid required years of work. Russia knew this. This doctrine is not new. During the Cold War, Soviet active measures, sabotage, disinformation, proxy violence, were operating across Western Europe continuously. West German terror groups in the 1970s received Soviet funding and training. Plausible deniability, the same playbook. Then, it was ideological proxies. Now it's criminal networks recruited through prisons and dark web platforms. The tools evolved. The doctrine did not. The Soviet Union built European dependence on Russian gas through the Cold War. It was a strategic investment that paid off for 40 years, until it didn't. Gerasimov published the blueprint in 2013. Western intelligence read it. Western governments filed it. Russia implemented it. NATO has 32 member states. Each one has a different answer to the question, at what point do we shoot? When Russian drones entered Polish airspace in September 2025, Poland said it would shoot them down. Germany called that an escalation trap. Russia noticed. In February 2026, the Munich Security Conference found that majorities in France, Germany, Canada, and the UK called the United States unreliable. The Trump administration's ambiguity about European defense commitments gave Moscow exactly the window it needed to probe harder. Russia recruits through criminal networks and online platforms, offering cash to people who don't know who they are working for. Deniability built in. So let's zoom out. This is not an accident. This is not a crime wave. This is a war. Geography. The Baltic Sea is Europe's data artery, its power grid, and its most vulnerable military choke point. Russia knows the map better than NATO does. Money. A dragged anchor costs nothing. Repairing a cable costs millions. Equipping every airport against drones costs billions. The attacker wins on economics alone. History. The Soviet Union ran this playbook for 40 years. NATO won the Cold War, then defunded its institutional memory of how. The deal behind the deal. NATO's strength is its 32 members. Its weakness is that it takes all 32 to agree on what to do. More than 150 incidents, 0 criminal convictions. Russia has not paid a single meaningful cost for a single confirmed act of sabotage. Russia discovered that you can wage war against an alliance of 32 nations, as long as you never quite cross the line that forces them to agree. That is the bigger picture.